What's up, New York? Thanks for coming out today. Who's got the first question?
I'd like to start with Jon Jones. Jon, for a lot of your career, people have been talking about you fighting in New York, Madison Square Garden. To finally be here, days away from doing it, what does the emotions feel like right now?
Oh, it just feels great. What's up, New York? How we doing? How we doing, New York? Let's hear you. Woo! Oh, it feels great to be here. It's always been a dream of mine to fight at the Garden, and I'd be lying if I said this fight didn't just feel different. It's a very special thing. New York has some of the best fans in the world, and I'm glad to be able to give you guys what you want to see.
Earlier this week, you made it pretty clear you were upset with Stipe Miocic calling you a bitch on the Countdown episode. Why exactly were you so upset by that?
You know, I feel like Stipe has this. You know, everyone likes first responders. You know, and I actually respect men and women in the armed forces and law enforcement, things like that. And so I made it a point to try to be very respectful to him. And there's been two scenarios now. The first scenario, he said, my kids will never look at me like I'm an asshole. That was a direct attack to me and my family and my relationship with my kids. Second attack was him calling me a bitch. So the respect is a little bit out the window, and we'll see that on Saturday.
Would you describe this fight as personal to you now?
Excuse me?
Would you describe this as personal to you now, this fight?
It's very personal to me, yes.
For you, Stipe, are you kind of surprised to hear his reaction to that? And do you even feel like you want to apologize for some of those things you said?
I mean, yeah, I don't remember saying when my kids look. I don't remember saying that when my kids look at me like an asshole. That was no direct thing to him, and that when I said bring it on, bitch, it was pretty much he was calling me out, telling me he's gonna beat my ass in front of a whole arena of people. So sorry for defending myself. I apologize.
He said it's personal. Do you feel like this is personal now?
I mean, I think every fight's personal no matter what. I think you're fighting another man, another octagon, just you against him, and it's always personal.
You brought your fire helmet with you today. I'm curious, what was the thinking in displaying that for us this afternoon?
FDA and Y gave me this right before I came on stage. Those men are awesome. Like those are heroes right there, and I just it was amazing to get that gift. I got goosebumps.
A couple of questions for you, Dana. Dana, it seems like the fighters are going to be competing in the old gloves this weekend. Can you tell us why that is?
Because there were a lot of complaints about. We originally created these gloves to stop eye pokes, and you know we had good intentions with them. They didn't work out. People weren't happy with them. So I actually made the decision, called our chief operating officer, Lawrence, and said, I'm switching the gloves. I want new the old gloves back. So,
is it going to be the old gloves moving forward now?
Yes.
Okay. And last one from me.
The new gloves are now the old gloves.
Okay. And last one from me. We all know that this Saturday has to take place, but for you personally, do you still want to see the winner of this fight Tom Aspinall to unify the heavyweight title?
Was that for me?
Yeah.
What's the question?
Do you want to see the winner fight Tom?
The winner should absolutely fight Tom. Who's got the next question?
Knock it off.
Question for Michael Chandler, all the way in the back right here, straight in the forward. You know, a lot of the narrative surrounding this is, you've never won in Madison Square Garden. Charles Oliveira has a win over you. So taking away, the possible number one contender fight, getting the win, bonuses and everything, how much does this fight mean to you specifically to fight Charles in Madison Square Garden?
I absolutely love it, man. I love challenges. I love climbing a big hill. I have shed blood in Madison Garden twice. I will draw blood in Madison Square Garden for a third time on Saturday night. Big title implications against a guy who's already beat me, shattered my dreams of becoming lightweight champion. And on Saturday night, I submit myself as the number one contender, and my next fight will be for the belt.
Are you surprised with the reaction here, or do you think it's just because they're such fans of Charles?
Yeah, I mean, Charles is beloved. Hey, listen, if you don't love Charles Oliveira, you're not a mixed martial arts fan. So give it to him. Hey, so I fully expect it. I just saw Charles in the back. It's all respect. If you don't love Charles Oliveira, you can kick rocks. We're showing up on Saturday night. We're going to blow off the freaking roof off of Madison Square Garden, and you guys are going to love it.
And one last one for you, Mike. You know, you said in the countdown you were a fraction of a second away from getting that UFC title. So I'm curious, do you even approach this fight differently knowing just how close you were to raising that title?
Almost does not count in this sport, and that's why we all absolutely love it. It doesn't matter how close you get unless you get the ref pulling you off inside the octagon. The fight is not over. Charles came back. He proved not only to himself but to the entire world that he is a top contender. He was a champion for a reason, and he was a champion for a while. Now it's my turn. It's my time to avenge a loss, and on Saturday night, we do it.
In quest for Charles, in the back right here. Obviously a massive support here in New York, so I'll just, give you the floor. Is there anything you want to say to the fans here in New York?
Charles, aquele apoio massivo aqui em Nova York, então fala pra galera, só dá um oi pra galera. Só que assim.
Boa noite, boa noite. Eu tava esperando tudo isso aqui. Eu amo vocês.
Guys, good evening. Listen, I was waiting for all this. I love you guys.
Isso aqui é um sonho que eu tô vivendo. Eu sonhei em ser conhecido, eu sonhei em ser respeitado. E hoje eu tô vivendo um sonho. Eu sou muito grato por tudo isso que vem acontecendo na minha vida. Vocês são foda.
This is a dream come true. This is what I wanted. I wanted to be respected. I wanted to be known. Listen, you guys are the shit.
And for Charles, obviously Michael said, he plans to shed blood in there and he wants to get one step closer to the lightweight title. So I'm curious, what are you expecting from Mike and how do you see the fight actually playing out?
Cara, como o Mike acabou de falar, ele falou que vai tirar sangue no sábado. E ele vai lutar pela eliminatória para tentar ser campeão. E o que você acha que vai acontecer? Como é que você acha que vai ser a luta? O que o Mike vai fazer contra você?
Olha, de verdade, eu respeito demais esse cara. Ele é um cara gigante, um cara família. Vai ser uma grande luta, vai ser uma guerra. Mas eu tô pronto para isso. Eu não digo tira sangue. Vocês sabem a minha escola, chutebox, sangue a gente tira todos os dias. Eu tô pronto para guerra.
Listen, all the respect in the world to this guy. Enormous name, great family guy. Love the guy here, but you come for the blood, man. You know my school. I'm Chutebox, Diego Lima. You know what I do.
Question for Bo Nickal, all the way in the back right here. At Media Day, Paul said he would advise you to, hold on for dear life and, not give him space down there. So I'm curious, what are you expecting from Paul when you step in there?
He's definitely the one that's going to be holding on to dear life for me because I think that I'm better in every position, and really his only chance is to grab me, try to hold on to me, and throw up one of his submissions, and that's really the only way the fight goes well for him. There's 100 different ways that I can win this fight, and I'm excited to showcase my skills and all the hard work I've been putting in.
Well, speaking of that, you said you have 100 different ways to win. Well, Paul and his accolades of jiu-jitsu and this wrestling versus jiu-jitsu rivalry, is there a world that you purposely try to take this to the canvas and submit the guy with the black belt?
There's definitely a world where that happens. I think that obviously everybody knows me as a wrestler, but I think that my submission grappling skills are world class, and we'll see if I get the opportunity to showcase them this Saturday.
And question for Paul. Obviously, you heard what he said. He thinks he can submit you down there, so I'm curious, what do you have to say to Bo?
He says he's got 100 ways to win. I only need one way to win, and it's going to be a triangle. And when I hold on, I'm not going to let go until you tap.
And Media Day, Bo's...
Could anybody understand a word that he said? I couldn't understand a word he said.
And
I love the accent, though. It's dope.
And last one for Paul. At Media Day, Bo said he's the one that approached the UFC for this specific fight. He wanted to fight you. So do you take that personally, or do you think he's just trying to use your name to propel himself into the rankings?
It makes sense for him to use my name to propel himself. He hasn't fought the level of fighter that I have, and he's certainly not been in an octagon with somebody as dangerous as me. And Saturday night, we will see who will be understanding who. The tap in any language is the same. It doesn't matter if it's Scottish. It doesn't matter if it's American. When you tap, you tap.
Jon Jones right here. what is your reaction to Dana saying the winner of this fight has to fight Tom, that you won't be fighting Alex if you win?
I have no reaction. Right now, I'm focused on Saturday. Saturday is just a few days away, and that's the biggest thing for me right now.
So, absolutely no thoughts on Alex next or anything, just fully focused on Stipe?
I did a really long press conference yesterday, and I feel like I really broke it down for everybody, exactly how I felt. So tonight, it's all about Stipe.
Thank you. And Bo, one for you. The rumor is Donald Trump's coming to town. Have you any update on this and any extra nerves with the president watching you fight?
No comment, but I will say Saturday is going to be very, very special for sure.
Who's got the next question?
My question's for Jon Jones. Jon, you said Anderson Silva was your favorite fighter growing up. Now that you've grown up, you're the GOAT for a lot of people. How does it feel to reflect on how you thought when you were growing up compared to looking back on things now?
It's been amazing, having guys like Anderson, Spider Silva to look up to. There's a lot of guys. There's Uriah Faber. I have a long list of guys that I've always admired. George St. Pierre. These guys were great examples to me in many different ways. Some for their fighting skills, some for the way they transcended the sport. And I'm grateful to be in this position now. I'm very aware that I've impacted many people's lives around the world. And it's just, it's a huge honor, and it's a true pleasure to be in this position. Truly blessed.
And my next one's for Dana. Dana, the UFC announced its return to London on March 22nd. Can you give us any fights in the works or any fighters in the works for that card?
No.
All right. For Michael, I know the notion that Charles Oliveira is a quitter has been dispelled in a lot of people's minds, but you brought it up in a lot of interviews this week. Why do you think that is still in there, and how do you feel you're going to bring that out?
No, I did not bring it up this week at all. It was asked to me about our previous bout, in which case I do believe he had not proven that he was not. Since then, I have completely recounted that. Charles is a champion for a reason. He's come back in a lot of fights. Also, I did say every single person on the planet has a little bit of quitter in them. We've all got a little bit of quitter in us. It's just got to take the right time, the right amount of pressure. So hopefully we'll see it.
And for Stipe Miocic, Stipe, I know you feel definitively you're going to win this fight. If that's what happens, do you feel an immediate rematch with Jon Jones is what would happen because he has never been beaten?
I mean, yeah, but right now I'm worried about Saturday. So, yeah, once I get it done, yeah, we'll talk.
And just one for you, Dana. I know a lot of focus on this pay-per-view, but UFC 310, after Bilal Muhammad pulled out, people are wondering about the main event, if Shavkat will fight someone else. Is that still a plan, or is Pantoja versus Kai Asakura going to be the main event?
We'll announce tomorrow. It's going to be good.
Okay, thank you.
Charles Oliveira, vamos lá. Você constantemente fala sobre legado e cinturão. Por que é tão importante para você ter o cinturão se você já tem um legado construído? Olha só, está do outro lado do mundo, milhares de fãs torcendo por você. De onde vem essa motivação e por que o cinturão é tão importante?
Charles, you've always talked about legacy, and you've got a belt to show for, but now you have the legacy. You're loved all over the world. You have so many accolades, so many records. Why is a belt still important for you, since you already have a legacy of your own?
Olha, a gente tem que estar aqui por algo. Eu estou aqui pela história, pelo legado, eu preciso tornar campeão. Há um mês atrás, meu filho nasceu, e eu prometi para ele mesmo, eu vou ser campeão mais uma vez. Da mesma forma que eu fui campeão para minha filha, eu vou ser campeão para meu filho.
We're here for something. We're all here for something. I'm here for history. I'm here for legacy. I'm here to be a champion. Listen, about a month ago, my son was born. My new son was born, and I said, your dad is going to be a champion again, just like your dad was a champion for his daughter. That's what I promised.
Olha, eu não sei quando. A gente não tem, é tudo no tempo de Deus. Mas eu vou estar aqui para fazer história.
Listen, I don't know anything. Everything is in God's time, but I'm here to make history.
Charles, mais uma. No Brasil, a história é muito famosa. Você teve a sua filha, foi campeão, 9, 8 vitórias seguidas. Qual foi o clique que deu quando a sua filha nasceu? E você sentiu esse mesmo clique quando o Dominique nasceu?
Charles, so when your son was born, we know that after he was born, when your daughter was born, you streaked like 8, 9 straight victories. So what clicked that made you do that? And do you think that click is going to happen now that Dominic was born?
Olha, não é um clique. Eu tinha que fazer algo para poder, sabe, dar tudo de bom para minha filha. E foi isso que eu fiz. O que eu sei fazer de melhor, eu sei lutar. Eu não sou esses caras que ficam falando um monte. Eu simplesmente, quando fecho o cage, eu vou lá e faço acontecer. É isso que eu vou fazer de novo. Eu vou dar a volta por cima, eu vou se tornar campeão mais uma vez, eu vou deixar o meu legado cada vez maior e eu preciso da ajuda de todos vocês. Essa energia positiva é isso que faz acontecer.
Guys, it's nothing that clicked. You have to fight for something. I had to do something. That's what you do. I'm here to do something. And the legacy, I'm here to be a champion. I'm telling you right now, I'm working towards that. That's what I know how to do. That's what I do. I fight. And I fight well. I know this. Listen, I'm going to turn things around. I'm going to be a champion again. And I need all of you to be by my side as I do that.
Olha, de verdade, se esses caras acham que eles estão prontos para pagar o preço, eu estou 10 vezes maior. Eu nasci para isso. Eu vou fazer história mais uma vez.
Listen, if some guys think that they can do something and they have everything that they got and they can do something against me, listen, I got 10 times more than you guys do. Listen, I'm going to make history.
Who's got the next question? You?
Down here, Dana.
Go ahead.
Welcome back to New York.
Thank you, buddy.
Question for Stipe Miocic. In the long build-up to this fight, the man to your right has repeatedly campaigned for Jon Jones as the pound-for-pound greatest of all time. Has that affected your mindset during the build-up, and what are your honest thoughts on Dana singing your opponent's praises?
I mean, nothing new. I mean, John's done well. I mean, he's pound for pound. He's the best. You know, they call him the GOAT, and it is what it is. I mean, nothing new to me. And listen, I train just as hard as anyone else.
Jon, do you have any reactions to the praises that Dana's been saying for you back and forth during the build-up?
I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for the compliment. I've been here for a long time. I've beat generations of fighters, and I believe Dana knows what he's talking about. So I'm grateful for it, and I try to live up to it with every performance.
Just a quick one for Michael Chandler as well. Earlier this week, you talked about how you were looking forward to fighting at 170. When you think about that division, which matchup intrigues you the most?
I'm not really thinking about 170 right now. Unfortunately, I'm under 170 as we speak. So Saturday night, we fight at 155. We cement ourselves as the number 1 contender, and I win that belt in 2025. There's a lot of fun matchups up there. I'm a big lightweight. I enjoyed the camp for 170, but right now we're focused on 155 and that 155 lightweight title.
Thank you.
You next, sir? Go ahead.
Absolutely, thank you. Question for Jon Jones. Jon, you've just heard the reaction from the crowd and Dana's reaction of what they expect next in the heavyweight division. I know that you've given answers this week that don't align, obviously, and hopefully at one point we might get aligned. If we don't get aligned, Saturday night, realistically, could be the last dance. So with that in question, and it is the last time that we see you inside the UFC octagon, how do you want these good people to remember your time in the UFC?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking it. I want to be remembered as a guy who came, saw, and conquered. Simple as that. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Question for Michael Chandler. Michael, Conor McGregor will most likely be watching on Saturday. Do you want to use this performance to send a message to Conor?
I've got absolutely no message for Conor McGregor. I'm 100% focused on Charles Oliveira. Conor McGregor can't get his house in order long enough to figure out how to string together a training camp to show up to the UFC octagon and do what guys like I and Charles Oliveira do multiple times a year. So he can enjoy it from wherever he's enjoying it from. We'll keep the octagon warm while he's out.
Another one for Jon Jones. Jon, DC recently came out and said you and him will most likely never be on good terms. Since he may be calling your last fight, do you ever want to bury the hatchet with DC?
Yeah, I love to bury the hatchet with DC. You know, literally every time I see him, I try to give him a smile. I try to give him a handshake. And I don't think I just recently found out he doesn't like that very much. So I think I'll just give him a little friendly wave from a distance from now on. That's all over for me a long time ago. I'm sure there's a lot of guys, a lot of former opponents that really don't like me, and that's a part of doing what I do.
And last one for Dana, just to clarify your opinion on this for the fans at Madison Square Garden. Who is the pound-for-pound #1 in the UFC, and who is the greatest of all time?
Listen, it is my belief that as long as this guy is active, he's the best. He's the pound-for-pound best in the world, and he's the greatest of all time.
Thank you.
I'll
Go ahead,
be
sir.
right on Saturday, too.
Appreciate it, Dana. Questions for Stipe. Stipe, you've been an underdog betting-wise against Fabricio Verdum, Junior Dos Santos, Francis DC, but you're coming in as the longest odds of your entire career right now. Why do you think the public has overlooked your ability to step back in the ring and get it done?
I don't care. I've never cared about the odds. Vegas hates me, and I'm gonna keep it that way.
Go ahead.
Hi, Dana. Not long time ago, there was changes in the rules. 12-6 elbows now allowed. Did that mean that you will try to remove one loss from the Jones record? And Jones, how is it important to remove this loss from your record?
For a long time, the Nevada State Athletic Commission is looked at as the gold standard, and it always has been. Everybody looks to Nevada. At that point in time, when that happened, we had the weakest commission ever in Nevada, and literally the worst referee of all time. I tried to get that removed. I don't think it's possible. And, it's the thing that's going to stain his record forever. I mean, the real fans know he didn't lose the fight, but it is what it is. I think that's always going to be there, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Question for Jon Jones over here. We kind of see you've assembled a team of Avengers in your corner for this fight. What do you have to say about the guys in your corner? Gable Steveson, Gordon Ryan, your friend Osi over there.
Man, I'm really blessed to be surrounded by really great men and women in my life. Not only Gable and not only Gordon and all these guys, but shout out to both of those guys, by the way, two of America's finest athletes. But I got guys who's been with me for years who's helped me get to this point. Coach Greg Jackson, Brandon Gibson, Professor Alan Carr, Paige, and Coach Aaron, Coach Alex. I got a really solid squad of guys, and our team was pretty damn close to perfect before adding these two great additions. And now a perfect team just became that much better. I'm definitely prepared to have a great ground fight this Saturday night for sure.
And then one for Michael Chandler. You've said about Islam Makhachev in the past, you said good old-fashioned American wrestling beats Dagestani Sambo any day of the week. How does American wrestling fare against Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu this weekend?
I guess we'll find out on Saturday night. Obviously, Charles is decorated. The most submission wins in UFC history. That's why I love this fight. I love a scary fight. I love an exciting fight. And I love Madison Square Garden. This has become like my second home. My sixth fight in the UFC, my third time at Madison Square Garden in this beautiful city of New York. So I'm excited to go out there. If I want to take the fight to the ground, I'll try to take it to the ground. I think I will take it to the ground, and I think I'll stop his shots if I want to stop his shots. So it's going to be fun.
Go ahead, sir.
Question for Paul, down to your right. When you make the walk to the octagon on Saturday night, you're going to be the first Scottish mixed martial artist to actually compete in Madison Square Garden. I know Stevie Ray fought at the theater, but you'll be fighting actually in the arena. How much of an honor is it for you to be following in the footsteps of the late, great Ken Buchanan?
Anywhere you fight in the world with the UFC behind your back is an honor, but to walk out in MSG, the noise in this room alone, never mind come Saturday night, is incredible. What's going to be more special is that noise after I get that submission victory in the 15 minutes. It's going to be immense within MSG, and I cannot wait.
Question for Jon, down here to your right as well. You've beaten a litany of UFC Hall of Famers during your career. Where would a win over Stipe rank amongst those wins?
You're saying what is a win over Stipe? Where does that rank?
Hey, where do you rank it in the list of wins that you've had over?
Hey, before I answer this question, I have a very special young man here tonight. My man Kier, I met earlier today. He was diagnosed with cancer recently, and Dana, I'm wondering if you can get him tickets to my fight. That's awesome. Guys, Kier is over here in the red. He's such a sweetheart. Such a sweet young man. I don't know if you guys can see him, but he has the biggest and most beautiful smile. And I am so blessed to have met him. And I promise to give you a great show on Saturday night, young man. And Dana just said you got tickets, so you're going to be all right. Hopefully they give you, are you going to give him a decent seat? Or you're going to get a good seat too. Uncle Dana, he knows how to take care of his guests. So welcome to the UFC, Kier. And as far as beating Stipe, where would that rank? You know, I've defeated a lot of amazing athletes, and Stipe is an amazing athlete. You know, even though I don't quite like him as of right now, which it's fighting. Who cares if I like him or not? I have to respect what he's done in the UFC. I've seen this man use that right hand to get some really great guys. So I got nothing but respect for the dude at the end of the day, and that's what's going to make it such a great fight. I know he has a great team and a great family. I have a great team and a great family, and that's what MMA is all about. Martial arts is all about two greats getting together and seeing who's the better fighter.
Stipe, down here to your right as well, same question to you. Where would you rank a win over Jon in the list of wins that you had in your career?
I mean, Jon pretty much summed it up right there, man. I mean, I'm not much of a talker, as you know, but like you said, he's got a great team, great family, as do I. And this man, it's gonna be some fireworks on Saturday, and I can't wait.
Thanks. This is the last question. Hey, guy in the green sweater, you asking a question? Yeah,
Yes,
go ahead.
sir. Thank you. One question for Jon Jones. So, asking whether this win or even before this win on Saturday night, do you have yourself on the Mount Rushmore of American sports? And if you do, how does the rest of Mount Rushmore look?
Man, you know, it's hard to stand up here and kind of toot my own horn, but you know, I don't know if I can put myself on the Mount Rushmore of all American sports, but I do recognize that I've won, 15, 16 world titles, and that's very rare in any sport. You know, Tom Brady told me that I think he had like 7 titles, 6 titles, and I know Michael Phelps did a really great thing with the Olympics. He has many, many titles. 17 is very rare. It's very rare, and I guess that's a question that you have to answer. You fans have to answer, but I'm grateful to be even mentioned in a conversation like this. Thank you.
Thank you. And last question to Dana. Dana, I'm coming from Georgia, and Georgia right now has 2 champions in the UFC. So I think this question is coming from every single Georgian UFC enjoyer right now. Will we ever in the upcoming future see a UFC event in Georgia? Thank you.
Yes, sir. We will. Yes. We want to go everywhere. So, you good?
I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, we're going to rip this apart. We're going to square these guys off. I just wanted to say one thing. I don't remember how many years ago it was, but we couldn't get into New York City, and now we're 7 of the top 10 all-time gates at the baddest arena in the world. Thank you, New York. Thank you, Joel, and thank you, Madison Square Garden.